And we're back live on your number one sports podcast, All Things Sports. Small Town EP here, live from Atlanta. Big Kev Shawty, live from South Florida. Wait, Julian, live from New York. The Panthers are looking to close out round two tomorrow in Sunrise against the Bruins. The Nuggets are looking golden. The NFL has seemingly given us the game of the year in week one, day one, and we are back to give you the real in sports. Gentlemen, great to have you. We're gonna start with the NFL before we get to the NBA playoff updates because we had some, big things come out of the NFL. Jared Goff gets a 4-year extension from the Lions. 4 years, $212 million, 170 M's guaranteed, fresh off a NFC Championship appearance. June, good extension. And what does this say for future quarterbacks right now? They're still looking to get some extra paper.
Hey man, first and foremost, it's good to see. It's good to see y'all, gentlemen. Um, Kev, over there with a newborn baby. Listen, football is not the most, uh, I guess, popular sport to put your kid in these days, right? There's a lot of repercussions that come with that, but teach them how to throw the ball, bro, because
Yeah, he's
170
already
guaranteed.
he's already doing this. So
There you go. 100. If he could pitch or throw, he's gonna be straight regardless. But man, nah, this is a good deal. I'm happy for Jared Goff because being the number one pick, 2016, having the kind of like up and down career that he's had over the years, going to a Super Bowl, then playing for a team that looked like they didn't even want to try anymore, and then getting traded to a team that didn't know what success was, finding himself leading that team to the NFC Championship. I mean, this is just well deserved for Jared Goff. So congrats to the Lions. They've locked up now their left tackle, their star wide receiver, and their franchise quarterback. So um, the number is only going to increase, right? We got guys in line. Tua Tagovailoa. Hey, we'll see what his number looks like. This is the second highest number for annual salary, only behind Joey Burrow. I know that probably stings EP's ears. I think it's well deserved for Joe Burr,
It don't
but
sting me. You know what? Let me stop.
but it's pretty crazy to see that the Lions have spent over $440 million in extensions this offseason. But it is gonna go to I think a lot of key contributors, hardworking men that show that they deserve to be paid the number they are right now. I mean, this team has been built the right way through the draft and free agency, and they're seeing the benefits of that in Detroit. They were very close to getting to that Lombardi opportunity. So we're going to see next year if they're going to be able to put all the pieces together and complete the mission, at least get to the Super Bowl. The city of Detroit is definitely on the up and up as far as football, basketball and baseball. Still trying to figure things out. Um, what do you think about this signing, Kev?
uh good for Jared Goff, the line, I mean, as far as the Lions, like, I think Jared Goff has shown that he can win games when he has talent around him. Like, I don't think anybody expects a Mahomes like performance out of him where he's got, one really great weapon and a bunch of guys who are dropping passes all year. I don't think that Jared Goff can get that kind of skill position set into the playoffs, let alone to an NFC Championship game. But he's got Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's got Jameer Gibbs. David Montgomery was probably the best 1-2 punch in the league this year out of the backfield. So he's got weapons that uh, complement him. So I think for Detroit, this was a no-brainer. For Jared Goff, it was a no-brainer. Obviously, somebody tells me they're giving me 200 million. I'm saying, where do I sign? So, so yeah, good deal for both sides. You mentioned other QBs, and like the very obvious one is Tua Tagovailoa in
Turn the
Miami.
ball over.
Like, this is a deal that now you're not taking any less, in my opinion, than Jared Goff just.
And did we lose Kev there?
No, I don't think so.
So,
No.
no, we're good.
Yeah, we're good, Kev. We're good.
So yeah, so I don't. There's not really a another. There's not. You're not going to take less than Jared Goff just made as if you're Tua, in my opinion. So you're going to take at least
I,
equal.
Oh yeah.
my thing is like, okay, so the number is there, right? Tua Tagovailoa is gonna get north of $50 million.
Right per
Joe
year.
Burrow's at number one, and Jared Goff didn't, break the 55 threshold. He's at 53. There's an argument for Tua to make and his agent to say, hey, well, what about? But
Well,
I
we
mean,
lost
this
in
is
the
a
first
guy that,
round, so
yeah, this is a guy that went to the NFC Championship. So I think the number is it's above 50, but I don't know if he gets to that 53,
But the
55.
argument the Tua's agent can make is, but my guy led the league in passing, and my guy fits your offense, and you've
Yeah,
built your offense around my guy, and so either sign my guy or trade my guy.
my guy.
my guy. Yeah, but that guy also had Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and
And
a
now Odell
great
Beckham.
receiving core, and now Odell
But
Beckham.
hey, I mean, I can't.
It,
You can't argue that. Like, I'm not going to take away from what he has. Like, yeah, that's what we want. Like this is going to lead us to having the best passing game in the league. Um, and if we can do it again, then Tua does deserve that 50 something.
and is Waddle even the pick there if Tua is not the quarterback there because of the connection
Mm.
to Alabama? So
Hear that?
did you build
Um,
your team around Tua, or do you think any quarterback can come in and make a difference?
Now, I do think Tua is in a very, very beneficial position here because you know the argument is there to be made that he doesn't deserve $50 million a year, right? Like, I'm not mad at somebody for feeling that way. I'm not mad at a Dolphins fan for saying I don't want to do all that. But at the same time, if you are a Dolphins fan, you should know more than anybody. We finally have a quarterback. We finally have somebody who can move the ball down the field, lead the league in passing, and put up all these numbers. And we haven't had this in a while, so we can't start getting picky when we got the guy who he doesn't do it the sexiest, but he still makes it happen. So Tua Tagovailoa definitely deserves that number, but it is like he's in a great spot.
But that's exactly what I think of Detroit with Jared Goff. Is like we haven't had that guy ever. Like, have they? I don't
Yeah.
know. And
Oh,
and this is a guy who not with your franchise, but has been to a Super Bowl and who has gotten your franchise to an NFC Championship game. So, yeah, I mean, this similar situation. That's why I just think like if you're Tua, you're not taking a worse deal than Jared Goff just got. You're taking
Yeah,
something very, very similar, which is
I
gonna
mean, at
happen.
the end of the day, I still see I see this clip coming out, and I'm going to be on the right side of history. So yeah, you're right, Kev. All right, I know it's going to come out, and Kev's going to be like, "Listen, I tried to tell you." You're totally right, Kev. He's going to get $54 million a year. Shout out to Tua Tagovailoa. We see you out here. It's 177 guaranteed.
Ooh, hey, shout out to the chat. We got a couple people active in there. Ray in there, uh Lou's in there, 365 Canes
Hey,
football's in there, yo. My boy Mark's in there. Ray saying, especially if Danny Jones is making 40 mil a year, then Tua gotta be at least north of 40. And I'm not gonna argue that, but north of 50, in my opinion, is a bit of a stretch. And your cousin saying you can't wait to hear you, Julian, disrespect the Knicks tonight. You're jumping the gun. We're gonna get there. Give us
I'm posting it on the gram right now with the link, telling everybody to tap in. Tell your friends to
give
tap
us
in live right
tell
now.
a friend
I
to
was
tell a friend.
laughing. I saw the comment. I was laughing. It made me smile. And me neither, brother. We'll get there.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. Oh man, shout out to Jared Goff, man. Like I said, fresh off an NFC Championship, money well deserved. It was good to see. I think it was good for football to see the Detroit Lions in their run last year. Looking forward for them to repeating it again, and maybe falling short, but who cares? Because my team's in the AFC and we're defending champs.
Oh,
Anyways, Antoine Winfield, safety, Tampa Bay, drafted second round in 2020, did win a Super Bowl that year with TB12. He's improved. He's improved since. Last year he had career highs, tackles, 122, interceptions, 3, led the NFL with 6 forced fumbles, and now he's getting a bag. $84.1 million deals, deal over 4 years with $45 million guaranteed, making him the highest paid defensive back in NFL history. I ring off the accolades. Kev, great signing or what? Or great extension, I should say, because he's already signed.
Yeah, I think with a coach like Todd Bowles, you're building around your defense and safety, one of the most important positions, and he's clearly become a leader for that defense. And Tampa Bay, I mean, they also gave money to Baker Mayfield this offseason to remain their starting quarterback. So it just looks like they're trying to keep this team intact for as long as for the long haul. And also re-signing Mike Evans. So it looks like they like what they have and they want to continue to build on that with Coach Bowles.
June?
Yeah, I agree. This is somebody that I wanted the Colts to sign. I figured he wasn't leaving Tampa Bay. I thought they would be silly if they let him walk because he's been the captain. He's been the anchor in the back end of that defense. Although they did lose to the Rams in that NFC Championship, and they had a slip up back there. Cooper Kupp got wide open for a touchdown at the end of the game, but it was one of the greatest games in playoffs in a decade or so. So shout out to Tampa Bay. I think they got it right, even with the Baker Mayfield thing. Like Kev said, they're kind of just bringing everybody back. This is a very talented team, and it's really impressive that post Tom Brady era, they're still finding themselves deep in a playoff run, um, with the ability to give themselves another chance to try to win their division. That's the best thing here about this. Like their division is pretty sweet. Obviously, we're gonna have to see what the Falcons can do with their new quarterback and weapons and things like that. But I mean, that division is as winnable as it gets. And so you have your quarterback, you got your franchise wide receiver, you needed to, have that sure on the back end. So shout out to Antoine Winfield Jr. for putting that pen to paper and signing that big deal.
I know in the pre-show I said that we wouldn't talk about it, but you know what? Fuck it. I mentioned it in the intro, so let's talk about it. NFL has blessed us with an AFC Championship rematch, Week 1, Day 1, Thursday, September 5th. The Baltimore Ravens at the Kansas City Chiefs. Could there have been, June, a better matchup to open the season with?
I mean, I'm a Colts fan. I would love to see the Colts play on Thursday night. Open the season. I'm kidding. Nah, man, this is great. I think man, fucking Zay Flowers, man. Shout out to you, bro. It's just hard thinking about the Chiefs and the Ravens without thinking about what a heady play L'Jarius Sneed made to fucking send the Chiefs back to the Super Bowl. And hey, it's get back season now. This is Lamar and Zay Flowers and them boys' chance to say, look, we're going to be the best team in the AFC this year, right? Let's start this off good. First game of the season, so it's not going to be, there's going to be some rust. We're always going to see some of that. But typically, I think like in the last few years, we've seen an exciting game. I know the who was it? The Rams and the Bills played opening night that 2022 season. I think that was actually before I moved to New York. That was like one of our last episodes we recorded in person. Shout out to Kevin and Rachel were there. But yeah, man, I of course, who doesn't want to see two of the best quarterbacks in the league going at it, opening night. We miss football, right? This morning at 7:50, I was making a bagel sandwich thinking about football. I swear. Like I was like, man, summer didn't even start. Fuck. We got it. Damn, OTAs didn't even start. Like, we'll get there. We'll get there. So with the help of NCAA 25 returning, it'll help us kind of get through the summer. And before we know it, man, preseason will be here, Hall of Fame game and all that, and then we got Ravens Chiefs. So shout out to the NFL for putting that together. Thursday is going to be fun because we'll be able to kind of dissect the NFL schedule as it comes out. I know that the Eagles, I don't remember who they play, but they're playing in Brazil on that Friday.
Word.
And I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to be hosting on
I believe
Monday
it's
Night
Green Bay.
Football. Eagles Packers, yeah, Friday night in Sao Paulo, and then I think the Cowboys will be hosting on Monday night, if I'm not mistaken. So the Colts, I found out that I knew that they were playing at MetLife, but I think they're playing the Giants and the Jets in MetLife this season. So I have two opportunities to go see my team. Hey man, I'm really excited to hear that. So I want to see what our schedule looks like too.
That's fire. That's fire.
Yeah,
Kev?
I think as far as like opening night, and I think Julian would agree with me. Like that first Thursday game, we could have given it to the Colts and the Jets, and for Aaron Rodgers come back. I think Julian agrees with me. I don't know.
I'm right there with you, fam.
I hear you guys. Hey, just like June, though, I'm gonna get a chance to see my team this year as well, as the Chiefs do travel to Atlanta to play the Falcons. NFL schedule will release Wednesday evening, so we'll dissect a little bit of that, talk a little bit more about that on Thursday's show. But let's get to the meat and the potatoes, as they say. Kev, you said at first that if the Minnesota Timberwolves win game 2, then Denver should be afraid. And then after that happened, because it did happen, you said, Denver's going to win game 3. You said that on the last pod. And by God, they do.
My God.
They do. They win game 3. And not only do they win game 3, but the series is tied because they did win game 4, 115 to 107. The home team is 0-2 so far in this series. Anthony Edwards, 44 points. Still put the blame on himself. Class act. Nikola Jokic, 35.7 rebounds, 7 assists, flirting with that triple-double as he always does. Can the Timberwolves get back in this series, Kev? And how, if they can?
I mean, they definitely can. We saw them take 2 in Denver, so it's not one. It's not anything to say they can't take one more in Denver and then get one at home, which is what they need to do now. This is a best-of-3 series, and Denver's got two opportunities to do it at home. So the Timberwolves definitely can. They've definitely made it harder on themselves now by giving home court right back, because you bought yourself a second game in Denver, and it's hard to win there as it is. So try to win a third now in 4 games playing them there, it's going to be tough. But uh, at this point, it's what you've got to do. And Anthony Edwards, if you told me that Anthony Edwards scored 44 points on efficient shooting in game 4, I'm telling you that there's no way the Timberwolves lose, let alone lose by double digits. I believe they lost by 12 or oh no, it was 8, I think maybe.
Eight.
But yeah, either way, like I'm not thinking I'm thinking it's Timberwolves are winning by at least 8. So, and I think I said on the last pod too, like there's a very clear difference between what Jalen Brunson is doing in New York and what Anthony Edwards was doing in Minnesota. One was leading his team and one was carrying his team. And Anthony Edwards had to carry his team in game 4, and you saw that it wasn't even close to good enough because they need that whole unit to play together and play well, Rudy Gobert included. He cannot be. That's always my issue with him when defensive player of the year. Like if you become a liability in the playoffs, you're not the best defensive player in the league. And he's the best help defender in the league. The best help defender in the league. Help defender should not be winning defensive player of the year. And so that's the issue, is that Denver's a championship team, and they've been in tough spots, and they figured out a way to take advantage of Minnesota, and they've done it the last 2 games, and it hasn't really been close. Like neither game has been that competitive aside from Anthony Edwards keeping Minnesota within striking distance, and it never even got close enough for it to be a threat. So can they do it? Yes. Will they do it? I don't know. I don't think they will.
June, could it be argued that, I mean, I guess we'll talk about game 4, that the bench is what played the difference? Because when you're talking about 13 Timberwolves bench points to 27 Denver Nugget bench points, and you lose by 8, is that an argument that could be made, do you think?
Yeah, it definitely is, because that was the argument being made in the first few games where it's like, is Denver's bench going to be able to, play with guys like Nas Reed coming off the bench for Minnesota? And is their depth going to be like their demise? Because, Christian Brown, as good as he was last year and he had a nice playoff run, it's tough. It's tough for role players to come in and really impact the game, especially when they're not doing it at home. That's when the role players shine. For them to go on the road and put up this performance, it's like this series is kind of just flipped, honestly. Like, I don't know what we're gonna get in game 5. It's 2-2 at this point, and it looks like, hey, Denver's just gonna do it again. Like, that's kind of where I'm leaning at this point. I still think there's a fair share that Minnesota can get, another 2 wins here and finalize the series. But it just, I can't even believe that Kev thought this, right? Like, you go up 2-0 on the road, and then as the defending champs, you facing 0-2 class. To me, this is like storybook. This is just like for the documentary purposes. Like, we're gonna get this at the end of the year, and like, oh, let's go back and look at Denver's historic playoff run in the 2024 playoffs, where they were down 0-2 to Anthony Edwards' 40-point performance on the road. Like, bro, at the end of the day, you can't guard Jokic, and he can guard himself. He can play at a pace that he's uncomfortable with. But once he gets himself to that point where he's feeling himself, and it's dropping floaters, shots, turnarounds, and to Rudy Gobert's defense or lack thereof, Jokic is that good. Like, yeah, it's tough. You know, we could talk about he didn't play and Jokic played worse or whatever, bro. When Jokic is on, ain't nothing you can do about that shit, and we know that. So, like,
yeah.
yes, to answer your question, the bench playing a bigger role in games 3 and 4, especially game 4, has much to do with this. Anthony Edwards, like Kev said, had to carry last night, and that's not where you want to be with this team because Minnesota is deep. They have a lot of guys who can contribute. Naz Reid is the 6th man off the year off the bench. 11 points. It's not going to cut it. It's not. So they punched him in the mouth for the first 2 games, got popped right back in the mouth. And we're gonna see who's got what. This is really about that. Who's got what at this point? And typically the better team, quote unquote, wins. But like these guys are tied. You know, they had the same record. You whichever way you want to slice and dice it, you could take either way. So right now, I'm gonna look at Game 5 as the pivotal Game 5, as we always say, and from there, I'll make my mark on who I think might win the series. But right now, I really don't know. Like, we haven't seen a home team win the game, and it's pretty odd that these are the 2 best teams in the West, or second and third technically, but they're all 3 to me, 1A, 1B, 1C. So tomorrow night, 10:30 in Denver, Ball Arena is going to be going crazy. Anthony Edwards and Jamal Murray kind of exchange words, leaving the court at the end of the game.
I like that.
Get your popcorn, bro. Just get your popcorn and sit back. I don't want to talk too much about it. Just sit back and let's see what they do.
Pack a lunch. Yeah. The 3 players that did play for Minnesota that came off the bench, -18, -9, -20, plus minus. I mean, when your 3 bench players that actually do play are that deep into the minus, they didn't really have an impact. Last episode, I don't remember the exact number, but I believe I said that Minnesota to win the series was like minus something thousand. And now, after game 4, they are plus 150 and Denver is minus 175. So it's looking like Vegas is saying, just kidding, we got you.
yeah. And
Hey.
if you did bet,
shame on you.
took
Hey,
the
we
bait.
said it. Go the other way.
Took the bait.
Just go the other way with it. You said it.
Yeah, word to Mark in the chat saying Jokic cooked everybody guarding them last night.
Yes, sir. I gotta say, man, they did say NBA. We want an investigation. We think Michael Porter Jr. had the under on his points.
Oh man. All right. I don't want to make Lou wait too long to hear June disrespect the Knicks, so we're gonna get right into it. The Pacers
to the front, Lou, to the front.
The Pacers are on pace. Whew. They have tied the series.
Real quick though,
Yeah,
if you don't mind, shout out to everybody in the chat, by the way. Shout out to everybody watching, paying attention. Just to kind of get into these comments real quick, because talking about the Tua thing, not to go too far back, but Steve-O 365 Canes Football, he says Tua is about to be 45 to 48.
Okay.
And that's a Dolphins fan right there. So hey, we'll see. That's interesting. And then Mark says that Tom Brady is going to be broadcasting that Cowboys game. So I'll be excited. I'll be excited to watch
That's
that.
fire.
But Lou said, I'm here. EP, can you set the stage? Kev is more than ready here. I've been ready. Let's get it.
The Pacers have tied the series with New York. 121 to 89 was the final score of game 4. The Knicks were outscored 34 to 14 in the first quarter, and it just didn't really get any better after that. Tyrese Halliburton, 20 points, 6
talking that
rebounds.
shit.
Yeah, talking that talk, hugging the white girls after the game. It was it was beautiful. Jalen
I mean,
Brunson
in his
had
defense, who else can he hug, right?
yeah,
But go ahead.
he's in Gainbridge or Gainfield or whatever. Gain, whatever. Anyway, Jalen Brunson, man, 18 points plus minus of minus 27. All
Mm,
five New York Knicks starters were in the
mm.
minus, including DiVincenzo, 7 points, 5 rebounds, plus minus 40.
Yeah, and the rest of their
Very,
players on the IR. But go on.
very, very 180 view of what we saw in the first two games happening in the last two games that we've seen. June, I'm gonna just pass the mic to you because I don't even know how else to set the table for you, bro.
All right, Julian's got the ball, left wing. Calls for the screen. Kev, come on, set the screen right here. All right, he's got the switch. He likes this mismatch. All right, listen, it went from Nixon 4 to Nixon 5 to 2-2, going back to New York a little banged up. That's what it looks like at this point. And I called Lou before the game. And what I told him, he was like, listen, bro, as soon as he answered the phone, because he don't call me, I call him. He don't call me, I call him. So I call him. As soon as he answered the phone, he's like, yo, let me tell you. I said, bro, you're not telling me nothing. I called you. I'm going to tell you. He thought I was calling on some hateful shit, which fair, but I wasn't. I called and I was just going to let him know, listen, the game's about to start, but now is the time. If the Knicks want this right now, not to say that this is their only opportunity, obviously, but this is the time to close the series out. Go up 3-1, go back to New York, and finish business at Game 5. And obviously, easier said than done, this, that, and the third, but look where we've found ourselves now. A 2-2 series. This is looking like one of the better series in the second round. All the games have been competitive, minus yesterday's. This has got to be some sort of NBA history we saw, because whether it was made threes, whether it was fucking minutes played for the Knicks starters, whether it was point differential, there had to be a record somewhere in their set. OG Anunoby not being there is really just bad news for the Knicks. I mean, night and day for how good they play when he's on the court and when he's not. We saw that in game 2. OG Anunoby held it down in the first quarter and a half when Brunson wasn't doing anything and he kind of rolled up on his foot and got hurt. OG Anunoby had like 22 first quarter points or first half points, and he goes out and it's just like this team, it's like a backbone thing, you know. I don't know, because Josh Hart, as good of a defender as he is, he's asked to do a lot, right? I mean, he's doing everything for this team. He's damn near getting triple doubles all the time. He's getting 12 rebounds a game. Like, he has to guard Pascal Siakam. Whether he's a good defender or not, he's way too undersized for that. So there's a lot of responsibility to go around and not enough people to kind of help with the responsibilities. And so to me, the X factor here is, can OG Anunoby find his way back before Game 7? I know it's not going to be tomorrow, and I doubt it's going to be for Game 6. How can the Knicks respond and show up without not their best player, but their most important player? Jalen Brunson, hey, you know what? You can give him a pass, right? I mean, he didn't have the best 2 games in game 1 and 2 versus Philadelphia, but he came back and started dropping 40 straight 4 times. Comes back, Indiana, great. But in game 3, he struggled. And to close out, he struggled. Game 4, nobody showed up for New York. So I don't know what we're going to see tomorrow. Like, this looks like, yeah, home team wins, which you're supposed to technically. However, the Knicks got the dog shit beat out of them yesterday. In game 3,
Facts.
the Knicks looked lethargic. You know what I mean? Like, the fatigue is kicking in. And I'm not here to blame Tibbs. I think Tibbs is doing what he can with what he has. And, hey, you got to step up, right?
I don't know about playing your starters that whole third quarter, but, you know.
I mean, bro, like, they don't have much other option. Alec Burks, as much as maybe you could say he's fresh legs, he ain't show you a lot. He ain't show us a lot of when we played him in the regular season. Like, Nobody, it just sucks to see that Mitchell Robinson is going for like his fourth surgery this year. Is that Bogdan Bogdanovic fucked up his ankle earlier in the playoffs. Jalen Brunson rolls up his foot again. Like it's unfortunate, but nobody don't want to hear that shit.
It's
And I
playoffs.
don't
Yeah,
like this
facts.
Tyrese Halliburton is a front runner shit. Like, oh, you talk when you're up. Fuck yeah, dude. Duh. I mean, what are we supposed to be happy when we're down? And I get he's not Michael Jordan, so I don't expect him to be talking shit while he's down 20, you know what I'm saying, or down 10, like he's gonna be Superman and bring this back. He's gonna talk his shit, hype his team up, lead his team at home. Come on, front runner, new Devin Booker. I don't like that. I think you got to give credit where it's due. And the thing about the New York fan base that bothers me is, aside from the delusion and the cult like activity, is more so we have to like hate the player that we're playing against. Like we have to hate him, and like we're gonna shit talk him and call him all these names, and this is gonna be the thing for the series. Like, bro, no, like have respect for your opponent, and just beat him. But I'm not trying to tell people how to fan. You know what? Let me take a step back before they just tell me my team's in Cancun. Sorry, I have a sports podcast. It's what we do here every week for the last 8 years. But go ahead,
Let me
Kev.
tell you
I'm
something.
listening.
Cancun was a lot nicer than that 40-point beatdown last night. I'll tell you that much. I'm sure you'd prefer Cancun to that 40-point beatdown that you got. But yeah, the Knicks just came out looking more deflated than Tom Brady's footballs yesterday. Josh Hart, the
Oh
six
my goodness.
Josh Hart, or as I like to call him, Kyle Lowry, if he was 4 inches taller. He was nowhere to be found yesterday. I got to get my shit off because they lost 2 in a row, and it's been a while since I could do this. But yeah, I mean, the Knicks fans are obviously, like, in my opinion, the obvious thing is they are mad that they passed on Halliburton for Obi Toppin, and now Obi Toppin is playing catching lobs from Halliburton, and it's like, damn. So yeah, I mean, if we're really talking about it, that's to me is what the anger is when it comes to Tyrese Halliburton. Yeah, I mean, they got embarrassed yesterday. National television, 3:30 p.m. Sunday.
Mother's Day.
Mother's Day, like,
Mother's Day.
and I mean, you went out sad yesterday, but now you're going back to the Garden and you got a chance to redeem yourself. And yeah, OG being out sucks. One, just for basketball, he means a lot to that defense.
Yeah.
You could see it from one game to the next. The fact that Brunson kept them in game 3 once OG went out was, I mean, I've been speaking nothing but praises for Jalen Brunson
Game
all
2.
postseason.
Yeah, game 2.
No, game 3.
No, game
They
3.
didn't
Yeah.
win, but he kept them in it. And
That
then
No,
needs
but
to
OG
be 3
didn't
was
play game 3
crazy.
he went out in game 3, didn't he? Am I tripping?
at home in New York. Wasn't that
No, it was game
New
3.
York?
It was game 3 when he got hurt. He got hurt in the third quarter, game 3. I'm pretty sure. But
If I'm not mistaken, OG Anunoby left the game early in game 2 at home. Didn't play game 3. Didn't play game 4, and is
You're
looking
right.
doubtful for game 5.
You're right. Okay.
Or he's out game 5 now.
That's correct. But yes, the fact that Jalen Brunson won game 2 for them once OG went out,
Yeah.
because he was clearly hobbled and somehow found it
Like
in
a 20-point second half.
Not to mention the fact that DiVincenzo shot the ball lights out, but you expect one of these games from Brunt, like it was gonna happen.
Mhm.
Like it would have been superhuman for him to just drop 30, 35 plus every night
Mhm.
and willing his team to victory. And that's going back to like the leading versus carrying. And like you can only carry your team for so long, like until you need other guys to step up. And maybe one of his next best options is now out. His other best option has been out in Julius Randle. Your 2 best defenders are out in Mitchell Robinson and OG Anunoby. So
And
they're
DiVincenzo, as much as great as he's doing, listen, I got a lot of respect for DiVincenzo, bro. Like what he's been able to do this playoffs has been pretty good. I mean, he struggled a little bit in the Philly series, but when he catches fire, like he's hitting everything, and his confidence is through the roof. Both ends of the floor, he's contributing. But you expect him to, have a game or two where he's not gonna be super ragu. Like, I mean, let's be honest. This isn't an all NBA. This isn't an all-star. Like, this is DiVincenzo came from Golden State and came from Milwaukee and tried to find a new home in New York, and he did. and I think he did a great job, hit the ground running. He's got the Villanova continuity with his boys. I love it. But like, let's be real, bro. Is Dante DiVincenzo? How much can we really expect from him for a full playoff series? My other point is the Jalen Brunson thing. I know going into this series, I don't know who it was on ESPN was like, the Pacers are going to be able to throw big bodies at him like Nemhard and Neesmith. Um, and then Nick's Twitter's clowning that like, oh, Jalen Brunson goes and balls out in game 1 and 2. But Jalen Brunson is hurt. He's hurt, and these bigger bodies that they have on him is taking a toll. TJ McConnell's playing amazing on-ball defense. So like everybody that they're throwing at him, they're just making him work a little more for each bucket he has to get. So like you can't, you have to be realistic and look at it objectively when you're looking at Jalen Brunson. Like Kev said, bro, he's not going to come out here and drop 35 to 37 points every single night. I mean, it's unfair to even expect that from him. So the fact that he's done what he's done in these playoffs, you got to take, you can't take it for granted. However, bro, it's tough, especially being hobbled up, 1.5 to one leg. Yeah, I would love if I'm Indiana throwing Neesmith, Nemhard, and fucking TJ McConnell at him for 48 minutes full court. Like,
Was it Neesmith or Nemhard that hit that three with 17
that was
seconds left?
It
Nemhard.
was Nemhard who couldn't hit a shot all night long.
Listen, if they win this series, that's the new Roy Hibbert.
No, yeah, that was the play.
Of the
Like if they
decade.
win the series, that's the play that turned the series around because they went from trapping at the top of the key, and then they passed Nemhart the ball, and Jalen Brunson kind of slacks off him a little bit with like 5 seconds in the shot. Yo, if you don't get in that man's face with 5 seconds left in the shot clock, he's out 30 feet. I don't care if you think he can't shoot.
And he fumbled the ball on the step back. Like he fumbled the ball and caught it perfectly back, but the ball
That was just a moment. That was just one of those sports moments where you're just like, wow, bro. You can't script it, you can't make it up. To answer Rodney's question in the
yeah,
chat,
I wanted to bring that question up too.
We already see Rudy came back and Minnesota lost. Randall, listen, honestly, neither here nor there is my real answer because Randall hasn't been a part of this thing since the shoulder injury in Miami or in New York versus Miami. And also, I'm going to stand on this. Randall's not a playoff performer. Like, until I see it, my opinion didn't change. He has a great regular season. Yeah. He tries to change your mind. He gets to the playoffs, shits the bed. Great regular season. Like, Knicks fans themselves hated Randall last year after the playoffs, wanted to trade him. I heard every slur, possible. And then this regular season, it's like, yo, big 30, big Jew. Yo, he's a baller. Julius Randle, you are that guy. But when it comes to the playoffs, 17 a game in the playoffs career, I got to see it. So I don't think he would have made a difference. But like I said, neither here nor there, he's not going to play. So
I do wonder if the refs made a difference in keeping a 32-point game from becoming
I don't know.
game yesterday.
This game was over with three minutes into the fucking first quarter. Really.
I just wasn't sure because my timeline said that the refs were a problem in yesterday's game, but then I see that the Knicks had 31 free throws to the Pacers 8. So you should thank
and they missed like 8 of them too. But
maybe thank the referees for keeping you.
I'm upset.
30.
I'm upset with my boy Sean right now. It's a little smoke. It's friendly smoke, but it's a little smoke because I be on that playback and I'm always supporting him on that playback. Last week I came in here and I shouted Brill, I shouted Sean out, and I hope Brill's watching or he probably will one of these days. Catch up gang. I shout him out. I'm like, yo, go show love. Go watch the Knicks live on playback with the family. But I be tapping in, I be throwing my little hateful comments in there. I be hating, I be saying my 2-piece, whatever, and they be, all the fans go at me. I know them, so it's like we got a rapport. I know some of the community, and they give me their shit. Tell me about Jimmy. Tell me about the Heat, this, that, and the third. I was going in there yesterday, obviously, during a 40-point loss. It's probably going to hit a little harder. It's going to sting a little more. And I'm throwing some comments in there, bro. Sean's like, bro, you're being a loser. I'm going to kick you out the chat. I get kicked out the chat. Guess what? Make a burner account. Boom. Let's go. I'm back. I'm back. Sean sees my burner.
Ain't really leave, but I'm back.
I'm back. Go make another burner. All right, bet. I come back. New burner. Brunson Mania 11. Let's fucking go. So shout out to my boys, man. That's all love. But come on, bro. If you know what I'm saying? If you're doing something for the community, you got thousands of followers. You got hundreds of followers in your playback community. You can't expect every single one to not hate. Let me get my shit off, man. Come on. Come on, that's all I'm saying. It's all love, bro.
Yo, shout out to everybody in the chat. And your cousin said that you were hating when you called them to not let you lie like
Yeah, and
that.
y'all lost, so yeah, I'm hating. Fuck it.
Hey man,
Hey, I texted both of you yesterday when they lost. I said the Panthers beat Boston in Boston. The Knicks get embarrassed. The hater in
I,
me is
I
thriving.
actually posted that on my IG, Kev. You
yeah, he
saw that,
did.
and I
He
got a
did.
DM. Sunset Park Rue, shout to Rue. He commented, "Is that Big Kev?" I said, "Yes, that
That's
is." Um,
funny.
That's
can
why
we?
he messaged me.
That's funny. I forgot to tell you. So, can we actually, real quick, before we move on, talk about Game 5? I know we got a lot of hate off. Let's talk about Game 5. What do we expect to see? Who do we expect to win? Personally, I think the Knicks handle business. Respond to getting smacked in the mouth and embarrassed in, what I'm saying, on national TV on Mother's Day. There's no way they could go out 3 straight games sad like that. There is a way, but I don't think it happens. Um, Big Perk is going to be in the building, but I do think the Knicks respond. Uh, and it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a tough win. It's going to be back and forth. But I do think the Knicks come out, win, go up 3-2, and then hey, from there, Halliburton's got to show up.
You said Big Perk is gonna be in the building, and I laughed because I could just see if they do lose, he's never gonna be invited back. Last time, but I mean, OG and Anobi's been ruled out for tomorrow, and I think we discussed earlier how important he is to the team, and the Garden's gonna be rocking. The Garden is gonna be their sixth man tomorrow. They're
Yeah.
definitely gonna need the energy because they're all banged up, but I think Indiana wins a close one.
Ooh,
I think without OG and
3 straight.
Without OG and Mitchell Robinson,
Ooh.
it it's tough. If OG was still out there, you get a different answer out of me. But Jalen Brunson does not look like Jalen Brunson. It's only been 2 games and they were on the road. But yeah, it's one of those like I think Indiana has the momentum now after that shot
Mm.
that Nemhard hit, and it's just I think it's going to be tough. If there's a crowd that can pull you out of it,
Yeah, it's the
it's
Garden.
the Garden.
It's the
So
Garden.
Long live the hater inside of Kev.
What I will say, Vegas has the Knicks at plus 115 to win the series, the Pacers at minus 135. It's looking like these are the odds that you may really, really want to tap into, right? Tonight, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, right? It could be 9. I think it's 10. It is 10. It is 10. 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Game 4, Mavs OKC. Mavericks looking to win 3 in a row. Kev, does that happen this evening?
Um, like I want. That's a tough one for me. Like to answer, I really don't know. I like to think OKC can come back and tie series. Um, I think I think Shy has a 30+ point night. Uh,
Mm.
I think OKC shows. I think it's gonna be a really good game, but it's like we talked about last time. That 1-2 punch of Luca and Kyrie can, when they're both clicking, can be deadly. And
Luca is a game time decision tonight. They still haven't announced. He did participate in shoot around, but he hasn't been cleared yet. Which
I
means he's
don't
gonna play.
He better fucking play.
I don't see him missing the game. However, the fact like you can count on Kyrie to go get that's you asked last time about Kyrie getting 40. If Luke is out, Kyrie might get 40 tonight. Like that, this is the game for him to do it. And I think he knows that. And that would be a fun game to watch, even more so. I think if Luca does so happen to be out, I think it'd be a lot of fun to see what Kyrie does tonight.
Yeah. Man, what a series we got here. Like a lot of people, and Kev included, if I'm not mistaken, is riding the Denver hot horse. Is that true, Kev? You fucking with Denver?
Denver, as far as like from coming out
My
of the
fault,
what?
bro. My
Dallas?
fault. Dallas. Yeah, Dallas.
Yeah, I had Dallas to
Um,
win the series before it started.
and a lot of people in our group chat, shout out to Locksmith group chat, they fucking with Dallas, bro.
I'm fucking with Dallas tonight.
I personally like I could see, like the Gafford trade with PJ Washington, great trade, and Kyrie and Luca is obviously a great pair to have for offensive firepower. But I did question, where guys like Derrick Jones Jr. and PJ Washington going to be able to step up in the big moments? And Derek Lively, right? Like this is a rookie center who looks like an all NBA, all rookie or whatever, rookie first team. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So I love the way that they've put it all together. I love the way that they, play with this continuity. They look like they've been playing with each other, pause, for over, 3 years or so. And playing together. I just want to switch that up. That didn't sit right with me. Playing together for 3 years or so, it seems. And OKC, we're seeing the rebounding issues that we talked about, right? We're seeing the inexperience at times, and I think Shea Gill just has to trust his teammates a little more. Like in crunch time last game, it was a lot of forced shots, driving to the rim with nowhere to go and just putting them up instead of, trying to make the right play. LeBron says it all the time, basketball is about making the right play. And whether this guy has a better shot than you or you have a better shot than him, you make the right play and the ball's going to find the bottom of the net. I think Shea has to trust his teammates and OKC will find more success. But right now, yeah. And, obviously Luka's health has a lot to do with this if he's going to be on a restriction or what the case is. But Dallas looks like they can really take a commanding 3-1 lead tonight. That's going to be big time if they do.
Whew. Yeah, I'm definitely on Dallas money line tonight. I'm not gonna lie, that's an official bet this evening, and I'm hoping that it pulls through. I mean, Kyrie masterclass, would love to see it. Like Doncic being, game time decision in the playoffs, that just means he's playing. They just waiting to, you know, to get close enough to the threshold to where they have to announce it and to where they'll get in trouble if they don't, because that seems to be the trend in the NBA these days, the National Blowout Association. Um, I, I'm on Dallas tonight. I think I'm on Dallas for the series. The Mavs, excuse me, sorry, are minus 195 to win the series right now. Oklahoma City being plus 165 to win the series right now. Again, I'm just enjoying this Kyrie success. This Kyrie, in hindsight, a little bit of a revenge tour as far as his whole career is concerned, in my opinion. His time in Dallas looks like he's having fun. So I'm definitely on the Mavs for tonight and for the series. We got a live game right now.
Yeah, speaking of NBA and National Blowout Association, it might get ugly. Whether it does or doesn't, 37 first quarter points. Celtics has just been pouring it on teams in the playoffs. It's only two teams.
No D Mitch.
Heat and Cavs, but 40 points in a quarter, man. Like somebody's got to guard somebody at this point. Jesus Christ, bro.
Yeah, I hope someone took the over. Kev, who you liking in this series as far as tonight is concerned? Because that line did switch up a lot when D Mitch was announced not playing, and it's only a 7-point game in the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I've got Boston. Like I said on last time, like if Cleveland does win a game, it'll be the last game they win this season because it's just like there's
too much.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jason Tatum, man. 16 first quarter points, plus 7, 6 and 9 shooting in 12 minutes. Hey, they call him out. Here's his response.
Yeah, they called out his super team.
Kev,
apparently,
real quick, did Donovan Mitchell play his last game for the Cavs a couple nights ago?
Ooh.
Oh man!
And does he really not want to be in Cleveland?
I'm sure he does.
Nobody wants to be in Cleveland.
I'm sure he doesn't.
Did he play? Did he play his last game there? I want to say he did, but sometimes when a team puts a certain amount of money in front of you, it's like you said, you put $200 million in front of me. I say, where do I sign? So we will see once that money is actually presented to him. Sometimes in your head, you could say, I'm not taking the extension, trade me. And then they put them.
Ask Bradley Beal.
yeah. They put the dollar amount in front of you and you say, I think Cleveland, there's some nice things. They have the Rock and Roll
that
Hall of
bar I
Fame
go to every other Thursday, man. I'm gonna miss Joe.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what Donovan Mitchell does this offseason.
Speaking of Joe, fuck Joe Cronin. Can I get a fuck Joe Cronin, Kev?
Fuck Joe Cronin.
Big fuck.
There we go. Yeah, all my dogs hate Joe Cronin. Big seventh pick, big 14th pick, big not top three pick, big not top five pick. That's what they get. You don't want to, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to play the game gonna play you, bro. Look,
Yeah,
I
write
don't
that
make
in
the
your
rules,
journal.
bro. Speaking of which, though, I guess we could kind of just transition here. The Blazers were expected to get a top three pick. Like, I mean, with this horrid of a season they had, trading your franchise player over the summer to a place he didn't even care to go to, disrespecting the god, Pat Riley. This is what happens. I mean, this is what happens. I don't know what Atlanta did. They tried. They made the play in.
God.
They fucking get the number one pick. Shout out to Atlanta, man. But hey, draft lottery winners.
Ooh. Yeah, this lottery is going to be very interesting.
And we don't even know
Especially,
who the first pick of the draft is going to be.
it's not. It's. They're saying it's
I
the
know
French
it'll
guy.
be the
It's the new
boy,
French guy.
but like you know what I'm saying. Like for real though. Like
Who is that? Nah, the we don't know is a fact. It's crazy, but it's a fact because I ain't heard of this number one prospect until I saw the post on Instagram. I was like, "Who is that guy?" I don't know who that is. I'm not familiar with his game.
With his game.
I'm not familiar with his game. In other news, like I said in the intro, Los Gatos, the Panthers, looking to close out tomorrow, close out Tuesday against the Bruins. Just regular, scored, went into the third period down one, scored twice, didn't let Boston score at all. You
Yeah.
know, that's
Shout out
that's
to
just
16, man.
come on,
16
man.
is that fucking guy, bro.
Jesus.
Shout out to B. Big B.
Big B's.
We had one of the tweets of the week there with I know Bruins fans are 6 to their stomach. 16, that's crazy. I fought you.
There's also a lot of it's just so much crying going on. Like the Boston Bruins fans are just such crybabies. Like there's so many crybabies these days. It's really disappointing. They're the dirty hit. If somebody is skating full speed at me, I'm putting my arms up to defend myself, and that's all Sam Bennett did. He didn't do anything crazy.
It's
So
hockey. What
It's
are you talking about
hockey.
now? Like, come on. I
playoff,
never heard of
playoff
physicality
hockey.
cry.
It's
Like,
playoff
we crying about
hockey.
physicality now? Come on.
Stop
Yeah,
crying.
Boston
Hey.
fans sound like Cody Rhodes fans. We gotta finish our story.
Yeah. That's what happens when you try to bully people from Broward County.
Their story ended when they closed the game out in Toronto. That was their story.
Jeez. The Canucks win 4-3 in game 3 over the Oilers. They were scoreless in the third period, but it didn't really matter. Draisaitl did have a goal for Edmonton. Bozard also had a goal for Vancouver. It was a hell of a game, man. It really was, with the Oilers scoring in every period. But the Canucks ultimately coming out on top. They are up 2-1. Do we have hockey this evening? We do have hockey this evening.
We got a
live
closeout game.
right now.
By the way,
I'm
Carson
tripping.
Soucy got suspended for that Canucks.
For that hit,
Carson Soucy for that hit on Connor McDavid. I wonder if he gets suspended if that wasn't Connor McDavid. It's neither here nor there. But yeah, closeout game in the Garden right now. Carolina down 3-1, backs against the wall. New York Rangers playing phenomenal hockey right now. Do they close it out, EP?
Absolutely. This is
got to be one of the more
you
electric
can't
venues.
Yeah, you just can't let this go back to Carolina. It's not a recipe for anything good to happen. You got to close it out tonight. And I do think that they will. I mean, they did win the regular season series 2-1, and they did win in Carolina. But I just think you got to close it out tonight. You got to close it out tonight. You got to stand on business and rest, man. Rest. Yeah. For the remainder of the round is what you're really.
I think what's interesting though in this series is that I think 2 of the games went to overtime. Mm-hmm. So they're up 3-1 and it looks good, it looks comfortable. But Carolina, we know Carolina's a great team. We know that they right now they're like one game at a time. Let's get it back to Carolina. We win that, we'll figure it out in Game 7, and rightfully so. New York, to what you're saying, has to finish it off tonight. Go ahead, Kel.
No, I was gonna say the way that Carolina's been losing to the Rangers in overtime and games that they've been in close games is the same way they lost to the Panthers last year. So I'm sure they would hate to go out in a similar fashion this year, and one of those that's like either
Yeah.
one shot either could have swung things either way, and the difference between their season continuing and their season ending.
I'm afraid it's over.
Rangers, Panthers, Eastern Conference Stanley Cup Finals.
We got 3
Ooh,
minutes left in the first period right there, 0-0 still. So good hockey,
it
good
is
hockey.
in the late night game. The Stars in Ball Arena playing the Avalanche. Dallas up 2-1 on the Avalanche. I mean, I don't know what it is about the Avalanche, but I just like to see them lose. That's one of the teams I like to hate on. So let's go. Let's go Stars. Let's go
You know,
Up
Stars.
Dallas.
the only reason I'm rooting for Colorado is because I'd like the Panthers to play Colorado in the finals so that the Panthers can get
Oh.
some revenge for the Heat losing to Denver last year. So that's the only reason that I was thinking Panthers
Hey,
Avalanche.
if they don't, we'll get revenge for 2011 versus Dallas. You know what I'm saying?
There it
Something's got to
is.
give.
There it is. Hey, yo, Kylian Mbappe announces he's officially out of PSG after their
Finally.
loss. Yeah, right. After their loss in the Champions League. And I mean, reports were saying it's all in. He's going to Real Madrid. And
Mm,
like I said a couple pods ago, Los Blancos will be blacking out next year. Real
mm,
Madrid on
mm,
their
mm.
way to the Champions League final on June 1st, as I mentioned on the last pod. If I'm not mistaken, Burnley was relegated out of the EPL this weekend.
Yes, they
They're
were.
they're down in Championship League.
Shout out
And
to J Watt.
shout out to Croydon, right? Stormzy rapper, south of London. Croydon gets promoted, if I'm not mistaken, to the Championship League, Championship League, which is just under Premier League. So they're on a similar trajectory as Luton Town. And you know what? Big shout out to Stormzy because he built a whole facility, invested and built a whole facility in his hometown of Croydon, London, in the south of London. And it literally looks like June and Kev, like the practice facilities that Inter Miami have, right next to the field, right next to Dry Pink Stadium, and it's state of the art. It even has a music studio, podcast room, a bunch of workout stuff, like two fields, and it's for the community, which is the most beautiful part about it. It's for the community. It's not for a semi-pro team, pro team. It's for the community. So big shout out to Stormzy, London rapper, building that facility, gentlemen. A lot of sports going on, and I'd love to get to them. You have any closing thoughts before we get up out of here?
Yeah, I've got one. It was about the Lakers reportedly looking into their candidates, and one of them being someone that I kind of threw out on a chance a few weeks ago, and said JJ Redick. And apparently the Lakers are looking into him. And by the way, speaking of JJ Redick, JJ, I'm wearing my hat backwards for you today. So that is that is all I've got.
There you go. I'll leave with this. Go Pacers.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, as we cross the 57-minute mark, this has been your Monday night All Things Sports, your number one podcast episode. Whew. Go watch some sports, gentlemen. We'll see y'all on Thursday. We out of here.